All right, we are back, and we have a new guest here joining us. It's Mr. Damen Knight, bottom right corner. He's a member of the Day 9 TV crew, and he works with Eric with the After Hours Gaming League. What's up, Damen?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us today. And figured we'd get started with our After Hours Gaming League segment here. Let me change the topics real quick. And Eric, why don't you lead us off by explaining to those folks that don't know what the After Hours Gaming League is, and just telling them what you guys do.
So the After Hours Gaming League is a gaming league specifically designed for people who have day jobs. So there's people who are competitive gamers for life who spend 12 hours a day plus playing a game, and then there's people who love competitive gaming and have a job they have to work at 8+ hours a day. So the After Hours Gaming League is a place for people who love competitive gaming and don't have the time to dedicate to be a professional gamer. So it's kind of like a corporate softball league is for people that just like to play, baseball. In that teams will play against other companies. So, for example, some of the finals have been like Microsoft versus Amazon and Google and Facebook, and there's a large list of companies we have every season. And so the idea is essentially bringing the concept of corporate softball to eSports, opening up competitive gaming for people's jobs. And kind of some of the motivations for that are we want to showcase gamers in a positive light, so people who are employed and have great jobs and doing smart things in life, and also playing games. So we're trying to create that association, as separate from the Hollywood Gamer Association of people living with their parents and eating Cheetos and
right.
carbonated beverages and whatnot. So we're trying to kind of to showcase gamers in a positive light too is one of the goals there. So and overall, this is season 4 that we're heading into. Each season, the main goals are to increase the amount of fun everyone has within the league and to increase the number of people that can participate.
What was the limit before as to how many teams you could have?
So in seasons 1 and 2, it was 1 team per company. And then for season 3, we opened up what we called the B League. So the goal there was to really encourage the people who didn't want to, for example, Starcraft. If people didn't want to compete with a team full of Diamond and Masters players, and you have a team full of Bronze players that want to play and have fun, we opened up the B League, which had specific skill restrictions. So you couldn't be better than some certain threshold. Think of some mixture of Platinum and Diamond players. If you had more of those, you could not be in the B League. And the goal there was to create a competitive tier with a championship and prize pool for companies that had basically companies with differing skill levels.
So you're telling me there was a whole teams of barcodes that were barcode bronzers, man.
Full of Diamond and some Masters, and I think we even had a semi-grand master or two in the season last year. Damen, do you remember how many we had of those?
I think just the one on Storm 8's team.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we had 1 Grandmaster, but a lot of pretty high Masters.
Okay, that's really cool.
So we really created the B League to not intimidate people that wanted to play, at a different skill level without getting crushed.
So totally focused on the more of the casual, casual user base. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we expanded the number of teams significantly. So I think the B League was far and away the biggest set of teams. Not too surprising, so we really did a great job expanding the number of players to almost 1,000 players in last season.
Yeah,
which we're really excited about.
Yeah, so we're talking StarCraft. It started off StarCraft 2, I believe, only in the beginning, and now we're doing League of Legends and StarCraft 2, which is good stuff. So let's talk about season 4. What's new about season 4 compared to the previous seasons?
Okay,
besides the number of teams.
So each season, between seasons, we put out a survey to get feedback from the teams, and we try to hear what they're thinking and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we heard a lot of positive feedback from the A versus B League this season. And a lot of people, there's a lot of feedback of things like, well, we don't like where you drew the lines, and that's kind of one of those lose-lose where wherever you draw the line, someone's going to be unhappy.
Of course.
To some extent arbitrary. So what we've done there is we have restructured the entire event to be everyone's in the same league, sort of, but it's a Swiss format. So after the first week or two of matches, it will auto-sort itself so that teams are playing skill gaps much smaller than they were even in last season within like the B League or the A League. So skill gaps will be very close, and what that enables us to do is say any random assortment of players, if you're a company and you have a Grandmasters player and 4 bronze players, it's going to be a kind of quirky team, but you can join and you won't be forced to the A League where one player wins and the rest get crushed.
Okay.
Or if you have any random assortment of players, you don't have to worry about those restrictions. And it also opens up, what was I going to say? Damen, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Which thing? The new things or Swiss in general?
The Swiss in general.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the big issues that we had was, you wind up with the super high B-League teams who at the end of the day really probably should have been A. Like, they're just completely face-stomping the other B-League teams. But, just with the hard skill level, it was really hard to make that determination and draw that line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a concern, right? So you kind of run into the same problem in 8th League where people are like, you know what, we think we're competitive, we think we can do this, and then they get like 2 games into the season and they're just getting rolled 100% of the time and not having any fun at all. So we spent a whole lot of time kind of arguing amongst ourselves over the best way to solve this problem. And the Swiss system really just seemed like, it's going to be a little bit more painful at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Just, because there's going to be some weird matchups at the start. But it's really quickly going to sort itself out into something that should be a whole lot more fun, just for everybody.
It's like having placement matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, essentially, yes, that's a great way to put it. So after the first game or 2 of placement matches, we expect the games to be a lot closer without any kind of restrictions on skill. So now no matter who's friends with each other at a company, they can play on a team together. They don't have to arbitrarily sort themselves into an A League and a B League team. And we're also opening up, so if companies have more than 2 teams, or they're allowed to have as many teams as they want in the league. So for some companies that have really large esports infrastructures, so teams like Microsoft have, they'll have several teams, to say the least, and it's no longer having to pick which teams can play for the company and which teams can't. So they'll all get to play and be a part of the season. So again, it kind of goes along with our feelings where we want to encourage as many people as possible with day jobs to be able to have fun in esports. So it's growing the breadth and number of users towards that goal.
Yeah, Microsoft they have the best slogan. They're always my favorite slogan. Macro hard, Microsoft. That's by far the best
that
one
was
for me.
Sheer brilliance there. I'm not sure who came up with that, but props to them.
Right. No, it's really cool seeing these type of. It's like almost like a club feel, right? That's starting at these companies. Have you seen any impact beyond just playing in the leagues at these companies? Meaning. For instance, when I first heard about the After Hours Gaming League, I thought it was brilliant, because not only is it more for casual-based players, but it's also a way to get, esports into some of these big technology companies at the time, right? Because the tech companies were the ones that were participating in the first season. Have you seen any fruits from that?
Yeah, so basically the longer the HGL exists and the more users it has and the more companies and that kind of thing, the more weight it has in terms of people inside of the companies believing in it. So that's something that just builds over time. And I think, I'm not sure if I have any concrete examples of it, but I believe that some of the companies that participate in the HGL have gotten into esports after that. And there's probably some linkages there in terms of just general awareness within the company, because one of the rules of the HGL is that we require a team to get permission from their HR or PR or basically someone in charge of the front-facing part of the company to sign off that they want to be a part of it. And so that kind of raises awareness in the HR department so that then they can throw viewing parties in the company and just generally creates more awareness of esports within the companies. So we've definitely seen viewing parties within the company. Some teams get like T-shirts made.
That's cool.
Historically, some companies have had their company actually pay to fly them out for the finals. These sorts of things. So that's always good for esports.
Yeah,
and I can even just say that the company I work for, we We have in-house tournaments now outside of the HGL. You know, we had team T-shirts made when we were competing at a reasonable level. You know, we're doing League of Legends Rumbles now in-house with Riot. Like,
That's awesome.
just, you know, getting into the HGL has, you know, kind of opened up all of these different esports options as like things that the rest of the company can kind of rally around and get into and bond over.
Yeah, it's really fun because, you know, a lot of companies, especially tech companies, and you know, I've worked at just larger tech companies in the past, that, you know, a lot of folks work long hours, right? So a lot of the social circles and that sort of thing does revolve around the workplace. So having these type of things, you know, organized and that sort of thing, it's really, really cool to hear. And
that's actually another story, a related story I'm trying to build for the After Hours Gaming League, is that there's sort of when you're just fresh out of college or going to a new job, you're usually moving somewhere that's new and you don't know a lot of people. So I'm trying to get the AHGL incorporated as kind of a bonding and onboarding and social experience for new people at a company.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of stories at it at different companies where I've even heard that some people specifically target the new recruits list, assuming that, you know, young people, young tech people will be playing video games. So I'm really trying to build that story of kind of being a home for new people at the company, kind of transitioning from college gaming to, you know, professional or to gaming at a company.
A recruiting mechanism, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty
cool. Trying to build that one.
That's pretty cool. That's definitely cool. Okay, so in terms of the season, how long is the season going to be?
So it'll be roughly on the same time schedule as last season. We're waiting to see the number of teams to find exactly how many weeks we want to have. There's some math between how long you need for Swiss and how many teams you have, and that kind of stuff. So we're waiting on that. We're also trying to make sure we don't conflict with either Blizzard or Riot's finals, that kind of stuff. So to be determined exactly how long, but roughly it'll be from January through the end of April or spilling into the next month. That's kind of the timeline. And so actually that leads to the next point, registration. So technically registration hasn't opened yet. If anyone wants to hear more, whether it's one person that doesn't know anyone else at the company and wants advice as to how to recruit, or someone with a team that, you know, wants to find out how do I actually sign up for this thing, you can go to the website. Definitely check out the contact us link, or send us an email at support@afterhoursgaming.tv. All of those will lead to humans that will help you help coach you through the process with the experience you've had over the years. And there's a few teams. But
what we've done is we've taken the idea of an automated phone service and we've turned into emails. You send an email, it's like, well, if you really want to sign up, send us an email back with a heading that says 1, and for Spanish press 2. So
Nice.
We really made some headway there.
God, that's funny. So, you know, one thing I've always been meaning to ask you, and I forgot to ask you last time you guys were on, but how do you get all these teams to actually play their matches in a timely fashion? Because I just, like, that's the biggest challenge, right, for leagues, especially.
Logistics are hard.
Yeah. Oh gosh, how do you do that?
Damen, you want to speak to that a little more? I think you've been somewhat more in charge of that from the Starcraft side.
Yeah, so I can speak to this kind of from two sides, both as a helping run the league and as a team captain in the league. You have to. There are always going to be some teams that are super on top of it, right? They want to do their games. They want to get them out immediately. They want to get the results in. We love those teams. But there are going to be plenty of other teams who are, we're just playing a game, whatever, not a big deal.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of communication, honestly. That's what goes behind it. Both, we have the team captains trying to coordinate games with each other, but also, on our end, if we go, hey, you guys haven't submitted lineups yet, you're, running late, time's running out, we'll interface with those captains and really try to help push everything along and bring them together and get things moving. But there's definitely a lot of poking and prodding that has to get done.
Is there a limit? Actually, is there a limit to how much time they have to play?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have deadlines, so we're actually this season changing a few things based on logistics from prior experiences. So in the feedback survey, one of the things we heard pretty consistently was scheduling matches was hard and one of the least pleasant experiences for the captains of the teams. And in the previous seasons, we had a time block when we said, hey, everyone should be available now, but also feel free to try and reschedule with the other captain. So for this season, we have really locked in a time slot to say, if you're signing up for the league, make sure you're available between these hours on this day. And this is when matches are played. And the goal there is that kind of making people work their schedules around the AHGL so that there's not all these people scheduling different things and trying to make matches work at different times of the week, and just making it a little smoother so that, you know, over 90% of games will be in the exact same time slot. Just makes it more reliable for players. So we'll see how that works out. I'm pretty excited about it.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Anything else you guys can think of, like to announce or talk about from the standpoint After Hours Gaming League?
Okay, here it comes.
All
Look,
right.
listen.
Here comes
right?
Sean.
Check
Here
it
comes
out.
Sean.
My favorite part of the HGL, and I think that just the participation, particularly in the B League, demonstrates this, that people just like competing at things. It's really fun.
Yep.
You don't have to be good at all. You don't. Like, I've seen some matches between two teams where it was two teams, none of whom were any higher than gold, play an epic series that was like just rife with conflict and tension and awesomeness. And to me, it's a really nostalgic feeling from the early days in Brood War when we played little clan matches when Nick and I were both in RS Gaming and we'd get up on Sunday for our games. It was so fun. So, I mean, as much as esports talk and chatter is about professional leagues and will they get it to $1 billion prize pool this year? Will Bill Gates invest? You know, you just can never discount how fun it is to play for the famous Day 9 no prize. You know, just to like hang out and battle.
So, from the standpoint of streaming, does it even play into a factor for you guys, like having it even be shown? Because having the structure is awesome, and I think, you know, I think that's actually enough. So, like, how important is streaming this for you guys?
So that's another thing we tried to check in after the season on like how the players felt about streaming. And what we found is that being streamed kind of plays into the fantasy of I'm a pro player. It doesn't matter who's casting, but the fact that there's a stream where they can show their friends someone talking about the game they're playing is really exciting. And that's actually one of the reasons last year we ran the So You Think You Can Cast competition, is we thought, okay, so the players really want to be cast, and they don't really care who's casting them. And there's a huge pool of people trying to get into esports casting that have, you know, it's very hard to get into the bottom level and get people to watch you. So we tried to merge those two and create some opportunities for up-and-coming casters while casting as many games as possible. So that's kind of why we ran the So You Think You Can Cast competition last year, which I think went pretty well overall.
Yeah, there's actually a question. Are you going to guys be running it again this year?
So the answer to that is no. So it was really exciting, and we thought it worked well, but it's one of those things that the amount of man hours it took to go over all of the videos and upload, and basically the logistics of it compared to the reward we got from it wasn't quite there. So we're having a slightly different casting strategy. So still, if anyone's interested in casting, definitely send us an email, and we'll check that out. But we'll be trying to do more of regular casters throughout the season. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good. It's really cool that you're doing that for casters too at the same time. Awesome. But okay, guys. Well,
yeah,
why don't
really
we?
Cool last year.
Sorry, what was that?
I was going to say it's cool last year to see some of the casters afterwards. I don't know if it was because of the contest or whatnot, but I saw them get some more visibility in terms of events. Like I know Maynard and Zeph who won our Starcraft casting competition last year. I started to see, I think, Maynard at ESL events, which was cool. So it was fun to see those people.
Yeah, very awesome. Yeah, Maynard I've seen at several things since then. Yeah, it's definitely really cool.
And he has beautiful hair.
He does, man. He does. Guy crush on his hair. But okay, why don't we go into viewer Q&A? You guys cool with that?
Hi.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, first question for your dragon. Okay, so he asked that so you think you can cast question, but he also asked, what are the goals in regards to the game with artillery? Since SC2 came out, there haven't been many successful strategy games. How heavily is esports influence the game? We kind of talked about that. If it is being influenced, what thought about viewability have been put into the game?
I'm even doing a talk about making an observer-friendly game at GDC Next later on this year. How do I approach this question? So viewability certainly is, I think, very important for any game, not just an esports game. The ability, the fact is that like Twitch and YouTube streams, people love watching gaming content. People will be at work and tune on a stream, and if your game doesn't have a level of clarity that helps people do that, it's going to struggle. Like, it's a really great observer-friendly game that is not an esport, The Walking Dead. Great game to watch. I've played it, and I've watched a couple people play all the way through it, and it was a really different experience watching them do it. Cool. So, we're thinking about viewability, certainly, but again, we want to make the most fun, awesome, easy to get into experience first, and esports would be a natural thing that we would certainly have a platform that allows for it, but the viewability is not so much from the competition spectator perspective. Yeah.
I mean, viewability, I think it affects UI too. If we're talking from the standpoint of, for instance, let's use League of Legends as an example. Those heroes, they have some powers that are crystal clear. Even if you're not somebody who plays League of Legends every day, you know what that does. When the wall comes up, when the ice wall comes up, that's there to block somebody's path. When Blitz pulls, that's supposed to be pulling a character. Things like that, I think, are not just for esports. They actually help too. So it's things to consider.
I would extend that by saying that it's very easy to think of viewability in terms of just UI elements like that, is there space to, or is the color contrast there where you can create your own overlay with your own colors and it won't be too sharp, or maybe we need more information, like Dota 2 is really famous for having its graphs of golden XP over time. But also mechanics, just like you're saying, I think are really important. And I mean, even we need to say, let's assume that no one's going to watch our game. You should be able to start playing the game and get stuff fast.
Yeah.
And those concepts are almost identical to what the viewability things are. Like, for instance, Force Field. I think Force Field is an extremely intuitive spell. Mm-hmm. It just gets cast, and then you see things get pushed away from it, first and foremost. You see things running into it and moving around, and then you see no one interacting with it.
Yeah.
As in, shooting at it. So you go, oh, that must be a little block force thing. And then you hear someone say force field, and then it just clicks in place. Force field is brilliant in terms of that visual design. So we want lots of things being visual and a lot less of oh my god, he cast the spell that let him have -5 armor, but that's okay because he has a plus 30% attack speed buff and also poison damage. It's going to do 3 damage per second over time, because although that's interesting, that's kind of hard to get. So those are cool elements, but to be used sparingly as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Okay. Ain't Funny 18 asks.
Oh, ain't funny. I know ain't funny.
Eric, I'll pose this one for you. For a browser-based game, how many plugins do you expect one will need to run the game?
The answer to that is 0. So we have a no plugin game. Yep. So it's not like some of the other game engines that require either a Flash plugin or a Unity plugin, or I'm trying to think some of the other ones. This is no plugins, runs with HTML5, WebGL, and JavaScript.
Yeah, as long as your browser runs those things. So he was also asking about mobile browsers. Same deal.
Mobile browsers are up and coming. And I mean, we're designing a hardcore RTS, so expect to use a keyboard and mouse for now. I mean, so mobile's not...
They don't work, man. Touch screens.
Yeah, if you want to plug a keyboard and a mouse into your tablet, maybe. But
you think Starcraft's hard now? Imagine using
that. Yeah, I mean, you can if you want. You can try to run it on your iPhone.
Exactly. He has one last question, Sean. Will we be seeing dailies on Project Atlas closer to or after release?
I mean, I don't see why not, right? I like making video content. I don't know if it would take the name of dailies, but certainly would. I think that's very reasonable to expect. I like doing videos and shows on stuff.
Yeah. Good. Let's see. Next question for... A lot of these are for you, Sean. So, It's
Yeah, see, it was the first half. I was me burbling about design. Second half was Eric and
Exactly.
Damen intelligently about HGL. Me just sitting quietly sipping my Diet Coke.
Okay, next up, Naden says, Day 9, you seem to have a whole lot going on lately in a lot of different areas. Are you still focused on SE2? Are you still going to be the ambassador, I guess, for SE2? It feels like I rarely get to see you cast, and I really miss that.
Yeah, for the rarely casting thing, that's sort of an easy one to begin with because there's just not a lot of weekend-long tournaments, so there's just not really an opportunity. I mean, you think of something like ESL running WCS Europe. Well, that's happening constantly year-round, all week long, so they need casters in studio every day, and that just... I live in America, so I can't do that. Or,
Yeah.
the WCSNA, I mean, I'd essentially have to do that as a full-time job. And there are events, like for instance the finals that are happening this weekend, and then the next weekend are the season 3 finals. I'm going to be both of those, so that's great. So as much as I love the new WCS system a lot, there are less opportunities for me to do casting, which I guess it kind of bums me out, but at the same time, there's just so many other things going on that, hey, that's pretty cool too.
I know.
So,
don't you got enough stuff going on?
Yeah, I mean, also to sort of contrast, like last year, I think I was out of town doing events or speaking gigs like 35 out of the 52 weekends.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I did 200 dailies in that year. And I put on, with the help of Eric and the rest of the Day 9 TV crew, the events that you saw with Red Bull, and worked on the After Hours Gaming League. And I know there's some other thing that's really important that I'm forgetting. So, I mean, like, in terms of reducing hours, be a human that can, like, not die soon from a heart attack, I'm pretty happy.
Well, talk a little bit about some of the other things you've been doing, because one of the things I've been really enjoying is the Spellslinger videos that you've been doing with Magic the Gathering. Good stuff there. So talk a little bit about that, because I Fridays you play all kinds of different games, and I see you doing more just general gaming things.
Yeah, I mean, like I've talked to Eric about this a lot. That Starcraft has always been like my core, what I did activity. Like speaking just as like a person with interests. Like Starcraft is what I did the most, and then variety of other games is the other huge interest of mine, particularly platformers. We've talked about a lot. Really love platformers. So, Eric and I have always wanted to go back to the sort of gaming roots that he and I both have. Magic the Gathering, we both love. I did a lot of drafts in college. I've been doing a lot more online drafts lately. Making various games, playing other games. These are sorts of opportunities that I just kind of wanted to do. So we sat down and thought what would be ways to do that. And that's what the Day 9's Day Off became. It was a day where I actually would step away from all my consistent StarCraft-focused stuff and just do something completely different. It's just a game I wanted to play. And then the Spellslingers one, and talking with Felicia, she was getting more into Magic. It was like, oh, we should do a show. So we just blasted out a show and worked great. So I've been most thrilled that in 2013 there's been an opportunity to sort of reveal more of the side that's just like another dimension.
Yeah.
I know what I do.
So just to be explicit and clear about it, it's not because StarCraft 2 is dying, right? Just to be explicit as possible for folks watching.
I always find that kind of funny because, like, I started the daily covering a game called Brood War that fucking nobody played, right? Like, a game that, like, existed only in Korea. There was a tournament a year, and I covered some of those pro matches just because I really liked it, So, I'm sort of... I had spent 10 years in Brood War being content knowing that I like something and just trusting in that. So
Right.
They will StarCraft Daily tonight and tomorrow and the day after that, as well as 3 next week because then I have to get on a plane and go to Toronto. So yeah, so.
No worries, no worries.
Whatever shall be occurring, I'm going to be blasting out that Starcraft 2 content.
Exactly. Okay, Day Nine, how I guess has your mathematics degree been helpful with your current job?
Dude, it's the greatest. I think everyone should major in math. It teaches you the idea of discussing and exploring problems in a really rigorous fashion. Most people, especially the way that debate and dialogue and uncovering ideas is framed in society, you get news that's like really controversial and two people on polar opposites yelling at each other. You get stories in movies where two people have disagreements and they talk in these obtuse ways that generate more conflict and hype up the excitement. And there's not really many venues where you get to learn how to methodically approach a problem, talk about it calmly, collaborate with other people who are on different sides of the issue, so that way you together can uncover the best approach. Fundamentally, design in games is all math. That's really all it is. It would be saying something like here is a math problem. What is the fastest way to get a maxed army as Terran without dying? Like, that's actually a math problem. It's an objective system. There's constraints. If you say, oh, that won't work because of blank, it's not a persuasive argument. It's a concrete to work harder at. That's been just instrumental to be able to, before we even begin to sit down and code and make a framework, to be able to say, okay, well, what if resourcing worked like this? That would imply A and B and C and D, and we think that the player would respond to it in these ways, and what would be natural for them to do, and to tend to think through that really, really, really slowly. Math is the greatest. Children should do math. You should bring your girlfriend to a calculus course and say, this is nothing compared to real math. Get her some Doug West math books. Ooh, Doug West. Oh, he's so this combinatorics book and this graph theory book. It's like really arousing.
Oh, man.
They're dilating just talking about it.
Oh my god. Okay. I got a question for you, Damen. Actually, are there cams? Oh yeah. I think Sean's cam was frozen there for a second. Eric, is your cam frozen? I think Eric's cam's for a little frozen too. But Damen, got a question for you. Sure. What's it like working with these guys? What's it like working with these guys?
It's a lot of fun. I get to compete with Sean to try to out-funny him, which I fail to do pretty much 100% of the time. And Eric is like super organized and just on top of things and like really passionate about everything. So it's been a fantastic experience, and like I get to go to cool events. I got to go to the Heart of the Swarm launch party and hang out with these guys.
That's where we met too.
So it's been an absolutely great experience.
Awesome. Let's see. Eric, can you tell us something? Well, Slayer XVI asks, can you tell us something about the different races available in the upcoming Archslayer? I'm not sure you can, but are you able to say anything about that?
No.
Okay, there we go. Hey, man, you can. Your cam's still frozen, Eric, by the way.
Dude, here, we're just going to go black and white. There we go.
Let me turn off my cam and...
Yeah, just refresh the cam. Alright, we'll ask 3 more questions here. I'll find some. Joe Faz, he asks, for you, Sean, have you ever wanted to stop doing the dailies and give up, and how did you get over that? If it ever happened, how'd you get over that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different questions in that question, because there's the overall knowledge I have that at one day the daily will end. Mm-hmm. I will not be doing the daily forever. Like that was like clear like 3 episodes in, just because every project has some lifetime to it. Mm-hmm. This is the ghost of Sean from the past, by the way, talking about this, hence the acceleration.
Okay.
But so then there's the intermediate question, which is, do I ever just not want to do the daily that night or that week? And what do I do in those situations? And that happens all the time. Like, Eric has been privy to days when, like I will have done a really long event weekend. I'll get home on Monday and I'll be exhausted and I'll just be like, dude, I don't want to do a daily tonight because I have to be funny. It's Fun Day Monday. I don't know if I have enough energy to be funny. That's stressful. So like, because if I'm not funny on Fun Day Monday, then oh God, so but the fact is that's just what my work ethic and discipline is about, is that like you don't actually need motivation to do something. Like I was even talking to someone yesterday who said like, yeah, I just don't really want to work on this project. I'm tired. I kind of want to go to bed and maybe I'll work on it tomorrow when I'm feeling energized. And I was like, all right, cool. So start it right now. I'll talk to you in 3 hours when I'm done. You'll let me know what you've accomplished. And lo and behold, 3 hours later, a said ally was like, oh yeah, and I got all this stuff done, so there is no way I think any human could do 650 episodes of anything and have been dying to do every single one of those. It's just about commitments and what I really believe in.
So, I have a follow-up question to that, because I've had the same feelings on certain days too, right?
Right, yeah.
But how much do you take into consideration quality of your daily then? Because absolutely, just doing it, there's definitely something great about just doing it and accomplishing it, and a lot of viewers appreciate it regardless of you being on your A game or not. But how do you value just the overall quality of that individual daily versus just doing one?
So, I mean, are you asking more about like how would I feel if I did like a poor job or like that sort of organization?
Well, if you were so tired, let's just say you were so tired and you couldn't be funny. And you couldn't be funny. Dude, if you were green screening it right now, you'd be invisible, right?
Right. No, this is good. All right, I'm ready for the next question.
Oh my God, you're like the Joker. But so if you were super tired coming back from a trip and you knew you just couldn't be funny, would you still do it anyways?
Yeah. Very quickly, the most important thing I learned is that you can't be anything but whatever mood you're in at the time. There are Fun Day Mondays where I'm much more quiet and reserved and I have a lot more dry humor. There's dailies where Fun Day Mondays where I have a lot more energy and I'm super excited. And I'm really goofy and off the wall because that's just what mood I'm in. If you ever try to fake what mood you're in or fake your feelings about it, for one, you run out of energy almost immediately and then you stop. I have honestly had really bad days where I try to act really happy and everyone's like, what? Sean seems off and weird. Yeah. This is an unusually serious topic to be talking about as I'm bright green. but that is a lot of the sort of feel to it, is like, okay, I'm just like, I've learned this, but in a sort of meta sense, you have to do those sorts of things to be able to figure out who you are and what works for you.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit different for you because the daily is you for the, it's pretty much just you. But I guess a good example would be if it wasn't a Fun Day Monday and you just weren't prepared, with analyzing a certain replay. Would you wing it? Would you just do a replay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that last week actually. I mean, you can't expect to be perfect all the time. And I think that this is one of these lessons that you really actually are faced with when you get out of college, where it's like, okay, the essay's due next Thursday, and you're going to have plenty of time to do it and to work on it, and it's going to be great, maybe you falter and you ask your teacher for an extension and all that stuff. But I mean, I think a really great example is planning an event. When you say, what would be cool is if we did A and B and C. You actually just stop and look at the timeline and say if A and B and C are even possible. And you're like, you know what, let's just work on A and B. And to see how much time you have and know what you can slot into that. And in terms of like the daily, it's not, well, I don't want to show it unless it's perfect or unless it's ready or unless it's right. It's how do I make it as right as possible given the preparation, the situation that I'm in. Unless you can really answer those questions for yourself, and unless you really take dives into spots that seem like they're going to be shitty, you're never going to know. So now all of a sudden, having done the daily for so long, if power went out at BlizzCon and they said, Sean, here's a mic, go talk to the audience while we sort it out. I'm very comfortable doing that now.
Yeah. I
would not, if I had never taken those shitty dailies and just ran with it, I would not have that ability. I would be like, but I don't have time to prepare. What do you want me to talk about? Like, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. Very cool. Okay, Jingle Sassy asks, for any of you guys, Eric, maybe I'll direct it to Eric, because most of these questions seem to be directed at Sean. Can we expect to see more Trial of Xel'Naga type of events? And you guys doing some things with Red Bull involving it?
I'll redirect that at Sean.
Okay, Sean. I was trying, Eric. I was trying, dude. Trying.
Mm-hmm. I like Trial of the Xel'Naga a lot. I mean, it's very along the lines of Fun Day Monday. That was one of the most difficult things that has ever happened. That was one of the hardest things that has ever been put on for me personally. Eric, does that sound about fair?
That sounds about right.
Was it mostly because it was just like impromptu speaking the entire time for the most part, or was
it's a high wire act, right? Because we're like, all right, guys, the voting is up on the website, so we have to have a list of polls prepared, set up in an order, and they have to set it and run it and clear the cache, and then get that part of the screen ready, and then that has to be displayed on screen, and then I press a button in the game that causes that to happen. And while they get everything loaded up, I mean, that was happening every 4 to 8 minutes game time. So, in fact, the producer was talking in my ear almost the entire time that we were doing the commentary.
Okay.
So it's really hard to talk and to listen and to plan out at the same time, and also to have run all these tests to figure out what order of abilities makes sense. Because there was one point in time where I actually misunderstood. I thought we were getting kicked out of the venue, and I just pushed some buttons impromptu to try to speed things up, and we killed Bomber in like 90 seconds. My bad.
The whole board is nukes. You're dead. Exactly.
Let's give this a shot, and then it just fucking was terrible. So like,
right.
So I like the idea of exploring more things along this vein, but doing an event for it, I think, is very dicey, and just thinking about it makes me stressed, given everything else I'm also doing as well. So.
Okay. So I think that answers that question. Probably won't see. Well, I mean, I haven't heard of anything too from Red Bull about any kind of event like that. So, Jingle, we'll just have to see. All right, why don't we call last question on this one? It's from Drake10. And he wants to ask all of us, and we'll start with you, Damen. What is your favorite non-esports game right now?
Anyone who knows me or has watched my charity marathon should know this one. Civilization, the first one. All ones after that were terrible and crap, and you should feel bad for liking.
Okay. Eric?
So my favorite games are, so Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, both of those two. I just love trading card games. And so for computer games, the first Duels of the Planeswalkers that was for Windows 95 is still one of my favorite games. It's just ridiculous putting an RPG on top of a trading card game, but I had a blast with it. I think I'm one of the few people, given they haven't remade it ever, but fine.
Awesome. Sean?
Oof, I think I gotta go beat Mania 2DX on this one.
Beat
Mania?
Oh my gosh. Seriously?
Yeah, beat Mania 2DX, man.
Oh man.
7
okay.
key, hell yeah. Buttons and turntables and whatnot, yeah.
All right.
That rhythm game. That's why I'm always tapping and stuff.
Yeah. No, man, that was surprising. I didn't think of that. Mine. Oh man, what's mine?
Hearthstone. Come on,
That's gotta be Hearthstone. I play Hearthstone like every single night right now. So, speaking of Hearthstone, Sean, are you practicing for BlizzCon or what? I've been watching all the other guys practice, man. So.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I have a deck. Totally
You have a deck. A deck.
I have a deck, yes, because we have to submit a deck.
You have to submit 3 decks.
Well, I have a deck
Okay.
that I'll be working on. I really want to try to bend the rules as much as possible and have them be as identical as possible.
Identical as possible.
Class,
Oh my
like
god.
So that way, I maximize my chance of winning while minimizing the variance of practice decisions. So.
Which translates into he doesn't have much time to get to develop more decks. That's exactly what it means.
The real problem is actually that I keep playing Arena.
Oh yeah. Okay. I suck at Arena. Oh.
Back? Oh god, yeah, all the gold came back from the reset.
Yeah.
So rather than buy 50 packs, I'm just gonna go in Arena all the time.
Oh really? Okay. So you didn't even bother buying any cards this time around, or any packs this time around?
No, I think I've just only played Arena. Played like probably 40
All right.
in the last few days. Yeah.
Eric, how about you? You like Arena or Constructed more?
I was always a huge fan of Limited and Magic the Gathering, so Arena is pretty close to that for Hearthstone. So
Yeah.
I play pretty much all Arena, and I might play Constructed after like 50 arenas when I have a reasonable set of cards to play with in Constructed. But
Gosh, I play, when I stream it, I play Arena, and I'm so bad at it compared to Constructed. But I'm learning. I mean, I have another show with Crip and Trump, so those 2 guys are 2 of the best guys. So hopefully they'll rub off on me some. Damon, you play Hearthstone at all?
Sadly, Blizzard does not love me, and I have
No
not
key
yet
yet?
gotten in the beta, so no Hearthstone for me.
Oh, well, they're giving them out every single week, so as long as you got that checkbox checked.
Oh, you better believe it.
You got a shot,
I
man.
check
You
my
got a
email
shot.
like every 20 minutes, so...
That, or if you have $500, you want to buy it off eBay. Well, that's another thing. Okay, guys, well, why don't we wrap the show? I think the show's been good stuff. Hopefully you guys have had a good time. It's always great having you on. But you guys want to do some shout-outs? Thank yous? Sound good? All right, don't get too crazy now, guys. Don't get too crazy. Big finish here.
Well, I'll go because
Okay.
they're being quiet. Big shout out, obviously, to Sean and Eric, because they're awesome, and without them, I wouldn't be here doing Starcraft stuff and helping run the HGL and having an amazing time with pretty much every part of my life. Because I wake up in the morning and I play Starcraft, and
Yeah.
then at lunch I watch some Starcraft, and then after work I play some Starcraft some more, and it's great.
That's the life, man. That's the life. I mean, 10 years ago, if you were to say that, I mean, could you imagine your life being like that?
No way.
Yeah, exactly. Eric, shout out.
so my shout outs go to the AHGL Council, of which Damen is one of the people, for volunteering time and making AHGL really possible.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the team captains and the casters and really everyone who volunteers time to make the league happen. So that's my shout out.
All right, awesome. And rounding it off, Sean, shout outs, thank yous.
I'd like to give an enormous shout out to, of course, you, Chris, for inviting us on the show. It was a pleasure.
Always.
You are the man. It was really cool seeing remember your first episode of...
Oh, God. Those first episodes.
I don't remember... Oh, dude, yeah, God.
Oh,
Every time I
my
go back and look at myself, I want to just, like, cry and, like, have Eric hold me. And, and you very much so, like Nathanius, just battled your way up to prominence, so you're pretty kick-ass. And, of course, shout out to the day nights, because after very long days, I'll sit down, get ready to set up the show, and then I'll see all your wonderful, lively perkiness in the chat, and it puts me in a great mood every time. So thank you. Thank you all for coming out, too. Yeah!
Awesome. Yeah, big thanks to the viewers for obviously coming watching the show. There's always a lot of stuff going on during the day, so I'm always appreciative of you guys watching. And then my guests today, Sean, Eric, and Damen for coming on. I have great time again, like we did last time when I had you guys on, and hopefully we can do it again in the future, whenever the game launches, and then we can all play it. That's going to be an awesome day. I think Good times. But if you guys missed any of the show, the part 1 is already on at youtube.com/ChanmanV, where I have all the show VODs. Be sure to check them out if you are interested in any of the past episodes. And if you want to be notified anytime my stream goes live, or particularly the shows during the day. Anytime my stream goes live during the day, guys, it's a show, right? In case you don't read the email messages. So follow the channel. That's the best way to do it. And you can follow us all on Twitter, at ChanmanV, at Day9TV, at Damen Knight, and at Eric Burkhart, right? I think those are all right? Yeah. And I think that's going to be it. Any shout out? Oh, one last shout out for the SC2VN, which Sean is going to be doing some voices for. It's Shindig's and TJ Huckabee's visual novel that they're doing. They're doing a Kickstarter for somebody with the link. Where's the link? It's on Reddit, right? Let me see. Let me link it to everybody. Just give a last kind of push for that. There's only 3 days left on it, and it's really cool. I've gotten a chance to see the demo, or just the beta of it, or whatever, just the first few, like maybe 10-15 minutes of it, and really, really good stuff. Great art. Just definitely check it out, guys, if you can, and support it if you can. But okay, guys, so for Day 9, Damen Knight, Eric Burkhart, and ChanmanV, this is Climbing the Ladder. We'll see you next time. Later.